This is the 30-day challenge of 30 things that you don't know about me, day 9. This is the first time that I'm using my new phone for a live stream, and I'm a little bit nervous because I don't really know what the gig is, whether I'm using the phone correctly, whether there's people watching. It looks like there's one person watching, so I'm just going to keep going, okay? I'm going to pretend. So, Daniel Egan asked me a load of questions last week on one of the previous live streams of the 30 things that you don't know about me. And I'm going to try and get through them all now as quickly as I possibly can. So Daniel asked me, am I passionate about doing what I'm doing? Damn straight I am passionate about doing what I'm doing. I absolutely love my job. There's not one day that I wake up where I'm not in the humour for getting out of the bed, or I don't want to see clients, or I don't want to go to someone's business, or I don't want to teach in schools, or I don't want to see people here. I can't wait for the alarm clock to go off in the morning, and I bound out of that bed and I get to it. And I am in a very lucky position that I get to do what I love every day, because I get to help other people, and I love that. So yep, passionate. And passionate doesn't even cover it, lads. You know, I'd nearly argue with you about this job. That's how much I love it. He also asked me, which leads me on to the next point, was I ever stuck in a job that sabotaged my goals and dreams? Very interesting question. There was one job that I really, really didn't like, and I was headhunted to go from one company to another. And at the time, I didn't listen to my gut. I was listening to the pound signs and how much money I was going to earn while I was working for that company. And they were offering me a very handsome package. So I followed the money. Turns out that I didn't really like that job, and I started to get sick. And like sometimes I was genuinely sick, and then sometimes I invented some illnesses to avoid going in on days that I really didn't feel like it. So if so, what did I do to get out of that place and pursue my dreams? Well, the job that I took was not in alignment with who I am, okay? And I took that job and I followed the money and I didn't follow my dreams. Let this be a lesson to everybody. And then I got used to the money, and the money became the most important thing. And as a result, I stopped looking for other jobs. I kind of got stuck in a rut. And the company did me, I didn't know at the time, the company did me the biggest favour of my life. And this is what happens when you don't follow your gut, okay? When you don't listen to your gut and stay in alignment with who you are, the universe is going to teach you the lesson no matter what. So I was in pain working in that job. I didn't like that job. And I always say to people, and now I say to people, if you are unhappy in your job and you need to pay the bills, because I was living on my own at the time and I needed to pay the bills. If you are unhappy in your job, and I get it, everybody, you know, has to survive, and we've mortgages to pay and, you know, cars to run and all that kind of crack. That job has to be your full-time job, but your part-time job is to find out what your passion is. And I didn't know that at the time. So this company did me the favour of my life. I wasn't leaving. They knew I wasn't happy. And in fact, I stopped performing to the level that I was used to performing at. And you know what they did, lads? They let me go. They sacked me. Devastated at the time. Absolutely devastated. Couldn't believe it. Big punch to the stomach. But that company did me the favour of my life, because I wasn't in alignment with them either. It wasn't a perfect match. So, went travelling after that to get myself together. How did I get out? They sacked me. And I went travelling and I did a serious amount of writing, which leads me on to another question that he asked me further down. So another question he asks me is, did I always feel like I had to explain myself to people? When I was younger, I felt like I did, because I never felt good enough. Next question is, did I not feel good enough for them? And did I fit in? And did people understand me? I used to walk into a room and think, oh, I hope the people in here, you know, like me, or, you know, I try to be really funny, or, you know, just trying to be very likable and all things to all people. And that's not possible, lads. It's not possible to be all things to all people all the time. And I turned myself, as I say, into a confetti person that I'm real pretty and, you know, jovial in the moment for a minute. But when you become a confetti person and become all things to all people, when confetti hits the ground, it disintegrates and becomes nothing. Let's not do that. So now I walk into rooms and I say to myself, I hope there's people in this room who are in alignment with who I am, and I hope I like them enough for me to want to spend time with them. Not in a egotistical way, because my ego got left back in the 90s, although I did have a little problem with my ego yesterday. I'll explain that maybe in another live stream. Cut that really quickly. It wasn't a nice feeling. So yeah, now I'm very aware of the circle that I keep around me, and I decide whether people are good enough to hang around with me or not. You have to keep your circle really tight. He also goes on to say, did I ever feel like people were laughing at you? When I was a kid, I did. I remember I used to spend an awful lot of time in my nanny's house, and the kids over that way were just a bit rougher and a bit tougher than I was. And one or two of them would have, you know, made fun of me or whatever else. And I didn't feel good at the time. But now I would know to remove myself from that situation earlier and not keep exposing myself and being all things to all people and trying to impress people. Because I certainly was trying to impress them at the time and it didn't work. But that's when I was a kid. Daniel's last question was, do I write regularly? Yeah, I write every single day. I write in the morning and I write in the evening. I call it my external consciousness. Whatever is going on in my brain, I like to get it out. And it helps me stay on track with who I am. And if I am having any issues, I can go back a few pages and say, right, where am I with that now? And can I write a line through that, or can I move on? He also goes on to say that when he goes to events, you know, like a workshop or whatever on empowerment or self-development at events, he does an awful lot of writing. And I think what he's trying to say is that people kind of judge him for doing an awful lot of writing. Listen, I take notepads with me everywhere. I took out a notepad at a cinema in the last couple of weeks. I was at a TED Talk that was being live streamed in from America. And myself and Jenny Ward were the only two people in the whole of the cinema who took our notepads. And the people who were sitting beside us were very interested into why we were taking notes. And they said, are you in college? Are you doing a project? And we were like, no, it's just really interesting and we want to document, because you'll only ever remember 10% of what people are telling you. And Jenny and I were so excited at the time to see each other that we probably would have only remembered 5%. So we took our notes and we were able to go back then and learn more from them. And I actually did a live stream about one of those speakers on the night that had a huge impact on me about your mental health. He goes on to say that when he does writing, it helps him process the info and execute it. Okay. So what that is a learning. Processing the information is learning it, and executing it is taking action, which is one of my favourite subjects to talk about. There's no point in having all of this information at your fingertips if you're not going to take action on it. So that's all of Daniel's questions answered. If there's anything else at random that you want to know about me, stick the questions in underneath and I'll answer them in the coming days. Okay, take care lads. Slán!